contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy and other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Teams are fighting for the first trophy of the year, but after today, only 6 will remain and still be in contention. Hello, hola, diagwich. Welcome everyone to day 4 of Masters Madrid, coming to you live from the Madrid Arena and by the way, it's St. Paddy's Day, so I decided to get a little bit in the spirit, you know what I mean, also to cover the grays. I'm Golden Boy. Joining me today, we got Mimi, we also got Mitch. Luck of the Irish coming in hot, and also it's good that he's here, so he can protect us from the snakes, apparently. That's the thing.
Is that a thing you do?
That's what we do. That's what we do. I left my staff at home, so hopefully all the snakes are gone, because if any come today, I can't get rid of them. I need my cloak. We left that in Turkey.
You gotta be always... you gotta be afraid of the snakes. In any case, so folks, let's go ahead and talk about what happened here yesterday, because all of our #1 seeds took to the stage, and we started things off with a pretty fun one. We had Sentinels versus Carmine Core. This was one of the cloudier matches coming into this one.
That's not a word.
Cloutier?
We shouldn't make it one.
Cloutiest?
No.
Cloutiest, perhaps? I don't know. I don't barely know English myself. In any case, though, Mitch, it certainly has been fascinating to see a lot of these big-name teams clash here in Madrid.
Maybe it was the Puerto Rico-Irish relation, but I understood what you were going for. I know where you were going. Let's make it a word. Yeah, look, the reality is, yesterday I was quite surprised, because I came in expecting there to be a definitive answer to the split question. Are KC the best in the world at it? And no, they're not. Sentinels may well be taking that claim. They look absolutely unbelievable. And for a team like KC, who in the regular season and even on the international stage have been solid on that map, to be demolished like that, it sets Sentinels up as potentially the favorites for the tournament. And that pains me to say. Here we are.
Yeah, I mean, Sen fans are eating good. Not only did they win both their matches, but they had, I think, the 2 most entertaining matches we've had at Madrid thus far. That Heretics game was electric, and then it was the same thing here against KC. Super close back and forth. 2 teams who really either of them could have come out on top, but some great adaptation by Sentinels at the end. And for them, they finally get a break. 3 days off before playoffs to prepare, but it's going to be a tough road for those teams down in the lower bracket playing today.
Yeah, what an incredible run that we saw, or that we've been seeing, rather, from Sentinels up until this point. But then we go to our second match of the day. It was going to be EDG facing off against Gen.G, and I had an opportunity maybe to talk to Munchkin before this matchup. He was like, T1 Munchkin, lose. Gen.G Munchkin wins, and that's exactly what Gen.G Munchkin did here today. The squad came out really swinging.
Yeah, I mean, well, they came out swinging eventually, but at first, not swinging. Arms locked to the sides, no swinging taking place.
Yes.
Exactly like that. You look like a penguin, a flightless bird. Stunning. Yeah, this team, they started off really rough. They looked honestly pretty dreadful on Icebox, but then they turned things around, show us, I think, a really impressive breeze. Their individuals were coming online in a way that we haven't seen yet from Gen.G in Madrid, and now they're into playoffs in their first ever international event, really looking like a player there in the top 4.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, the reality is we started that series off with Concon having quite a snowball. It was turned into an avalanche. It's hard to stop that guy once he gets going, but players like Texture, for example, I remember that round where he comes out of a smoke, 4 bullets out of a ghost, 3 kills, dismantled his opponents. And look, there were so many big rounds from individuals that I wasn't expecting to see after that map 1.
Yeah, well, they're going to get themselves a little bit of a break as well. But as we look forward, today is Elimination Day, and all of our #2 seeds are going to be facing a potential early exit, and a win here means you still stay alive in this competition. You can see the schedule on your screen, folks. You got FPX allowed, and then after that, it's going to be Heretics Paper Route.
Yeah, a reminder on the format, it's Swiss. So these teams that lost are down in the 0-1 versus 0-1 games. That's what's today. You win, you go on to the 1-to-1 games for the last 2 spots into playoff. But these matches are completely random. So these teams playing today didn't know who they were playing until when the games wrapped up. So it's very short turnaround, and it'll be very short turnaround again for those 2-to-1 games to try and qualify. Going down, losing is so much harder to make it to playoffs than the teams who just got that quick 2-0.
I almost do prefer that, though, because it eliminates a lot of what we saw in early Masters events, where the team who happened to on the schedule get the game first, they would sit in the lower bracket and watch the other match, get to take those notes, have that little bit of an edge. I think it's nice to have it as sort of a level playing field when we come into to those matches. The only downside is it does mean that you focus a little bit more on your own game. As we've heard from a lot of the players here, that's mainly what they've gotten to do, especially with a short break between kickoff and here. It's going to be a lot of fundamentals that teams are focusing on.
And I think it's the reason why everyone's been so excited about this tournament. Like, really, no one has any idea where the chips are going to fall here. I think now we're starting to see things really come to fruition, but it has been quite fascinating to see this all break down. We have a question actually for you wonderful people back at home that brings us to our poll. Which international league is going to be seeing their exit here today? Their first exit, rather. Will it be the Americas region, China region, EMEA, or, of course, the Pacific region? Please feel free to scan that QR code. Go nuts.
This is a test to see how good you are at reading a schedule, because there are only 2 possible answers here.
Yes, that's true. Oh, that's a good...
It's not a good point.
That's like a good point there. All right, guys. Well, make sure you use that hashtag. All right, you already know. I've said this a million times. Hashtag Masters Madrid and VCT, so we can go ahead and feature your stuff on the broadcast. And as I always say, be nice to each other out there, people. Come on. Now, as we look forward here and we get ready.
You glare at them as you say that.
I was just really
so
just
It was
scowl.
threatening, yeah.
Scowl, you know, Papa GB just trying to take care of the kids.
You forgot to
out
put
here.
the
It
or
is hard
else
to
at
be
the end of
menacing
it.
with the green beard, though.
I guess so. Yeah, that's very true.
Saying Irish people are menacing?
Nope.
Hard to
Nope.
be menacing.
Oh, hard to be menacing.
Yeah.
Also,
Agreed.
I don't
We're not
think
very
Irish
menacing.
people have green beards generally.
We do on Paddy's Day.
We almost
I
went
know.
down a rabbit hole that I'm so glad we avoided. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
so
we didn't.
Before we get into our first match of the day, though, you know we like to play a little game, some funsies. This time around, we're going to be playing some process of elimination because it's Elimination Day. So we want to keep things nice and fresh for this one. So here's how it's going to work. All right, you guys are going to remove all of the options that you have, and you will pick just one. And there's 4 categories. So let's go for the first one. This is going to be Masters winners. Of these names, which one will you keep? Which 2 will you get rid of?
Get rid of. Get rid of Optic. Get rid of Optic.
Get rid of Optic.
I just want to pick Fnatic.
I get rid of 2?
Get rid of 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Optic Gambit, you got to keep Fnatic.
You got to keep Fnatic.
They're the one that's still kicking, you know?
Yeah, it
They're
had
still
the
looking
longest
for
run of
something.
These are the Masters winners. So you would keep Fnatic over Gambit's Masters win
I mean,
and
both
Optic
of them
Masters
look
win.
great in their
Okay.
Masters win. But, if we're just considering Masters win, I mean,
Exactly.
Optic
Gambit crew
Reykjavik,
organization.
Optic Reykjavik was good. No, I'm sticking to it. I'm standing by Fnatic.
Gambit crew in Berlin
My
was one of the
teammate
best
agrees.
games I've got to watch. Got to cast that game. But, yeah, no, listen, Fnatic, I could see them taking a trophy the next event. I would say it this one, but...
Okay, all right. So then we have our answer. Fnatic will remain. All right, chat. Make sure you guys play as well, okay? You don't get the interactions up, so this way, we can become famous. Now, next category, star players. All right, we got Peak Yay, Peak Tens, which I kind of feel like is a little bit of a cheat, or Peak Nats. Which one
Goodbye,
would you pick?
Yay. Goodbye, Tens. They were both incredibly impressive and skilled when they were at their peak. But Nats, he was doing something no one had done before, right?
Yeah.
When he was first playing Viper, when he was hitting those lurks at Masters Berlin, no one has really, I think, had a performance like that again. We've seen crazy star duelists like Tens, like Yay. We've seen Demon 1, but we haven't seen another Nats.
Well, even thinking about this tournament, the one player during a cast, I drew the comparison with Haodong and how he was playing, but it was more so the results of the rounds. He was playing against a Sentinel-less comp.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Nats was doing this against Sentinels. He was doing it against both the team and the composition, the agents. The way he played was just mind-blowing, and it was something that never before had we imagined we would see. So yeah, it has to be him. I'm surprised we agree. I thought we were going to have to argue over Tens.
All
but
right,
okay.
there we go. Let's see what our next one is.
If New Tens was on this list.
That would be a
New
debate.
Tens.
That would be a debate. All right, so here we go. Next one we have, it's the subs, the substitutes that we want to keep. We got Patatek, we got Cider, and we also have CGRS.
I'm getting rid of Cider because he wasn't there for the entire Masters when he
That's
got
fair,
them
that's
there,
fair. Sorry,
but he
Cider.
wasn't there the whole time. So he's gone. Patatek's been good both times he's been a substitute player. I think I have to go with CGRS though. Bringing HyperX on that run in Masters Tokyo, they absolutely couldn't have done it without him. He was there the entire time. He was a content creator, and he stepped up and he played that well against the best in the world.
I mean, I feel like I'd be swinging with Cider, keeping him around just because of the impact he had emotionally on me. I thought the team was dead in the dirt. I thought FPX were in a lot of trouble, and he came out, stepped on that stage, and fit into the puzzle perfectly. So, I don't know. I've also been a fan of his for a long, long time in the Tier 2, and I want to see him get a shot at Tier 1.
This one was hard because I was like, I think I'm just going to keep Patatek because he's here. So
he's here.
I think I'll just keep Patatek. But hey, look at that. You know, what did you guys say in the chat? I'm actually quite curious. Hopefully we can find out. Now, let's end with some funsies. A classic whoopsie moment. All right, we got a few of them. So let's go ahead and show the graphics. So we got the Tui's failed knife onto Giacomo from Masters Tokyo. We had Mystic flashing Doma from Masters Reykjavik. We had Solkis with the failed knife on Vanity in Masters Reykjavik. And then we had Zekin with the showstopper on Celsius, which happened
Zekin is gone. It just happened. It's nowhere near as iconic as any of the other ones.
No
recency bias here.
I have a question. Do we have to watch them all? Are we going to watch the one we pick, or it's good?
It's just the clip.
Thank God. Okay. I mean, the Solkis failed knife is the one that probably
that was
the most in my
Reykjavik.
head.
That is like the first Masters Reykjavik.
Yeah.
That's like beginning of VALORANT history.
And it's followed him since that day. I mean, he can't escape it. But the Mystic Team Flash as well, for impact on the series, I might have to keep that one. I mean, it's the one I want to get rid of the most, but that's why I'd have to keep it.
But the Tui's failed knife, I mean, Giacomo just turned around, he just turned on him. Like, it was just crazy. I don't know. There's so many good ones.
I think I got to go with the Soulcast failed knife because it's the most historic. It was like the first funny moment. I remember like sitting at home with my friends watching and just like waking up early for that match and screaming when it happened. It has the most impact on me. Although the Jaw one is close too. That was also ridiculous. The Jaw one being the Tui's failed knife, where Jaw spun around and killed him and stuff.
Turned on him in an instant. It was actually quite hilarious. But all right, so we agreed on the desk here. You know, they would say the numbers are on the favor of Solkis with the failed knife. Sorry, buddy, we love you. But there you go. All right, folks. Well, let's go ahead though and talk about our matchup. No more of the fun. You hear the music? It's done. All right, it's time to talk about the game that we have in hand over here, because we have some world champs that are going to be taking the stage in a moment. But here's a little interesting tidbit: is that Masters does not seem to fare that well, Mimi, for this powerhouse squad.
Yeah, when they showed up to Tokyo, 2-0 out of that one. They showed up to Copenhagen, 0-2 out of that one. For some reason, Loud tends to kind of have slow starts to the year when they come to these Masters tournaments. They performed really well at both champs after that, but it's not unprecedented to see this team go down early, to see them lose. And I actually think it is interesting to draw a comparison to them losing in Masters Tokyo, because then I feel like there was a lot comparable in terms of them kind of struggling to find their identity. That's when they were defining the Harbor Viper meta. They played it on one map. That's when Aspas was like the best Jet in the world. He played Jet on one map. He was the best Opera in the world. He bought an op once. Like, it was kind of similar to now here, where they're going, and again, they're trying to find themselves with another weird composition. The question is, can they fix it in time to make it work here, where they failed in the past?
That's the thing. I think there's been a lot of promise in the comps that they've brought to the stage. Maybe the Ascent one needs a little bit more time to cook up, but especially on Icebox, I think there's a ton of interesting ways we've seen them try to push teams out of their comfort zone. But again, it's such a short turnaround, and not being able to anti-strat, I wonder if that's going to be a downfall for them. Up against the squad of FPX, though, this is where it might actually work for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is the big question around Loud right now. When they were playing in Americas, they were playing Phoenix and Breach on 4 of their maps. They come in their first matchup of Masters Madrid, and they played normal comps on 2 maps, and then they changed onto the Yoru on Ascent. And I think it is the right change, right? And the question at the bottom of the screen, is this overcooked? Is Loud going too far with the team comps? I think the easy answer is yes, right? They're trying to do something no one else has done. They're taking some time to do it. It's not fully fleshed out compared to the old stuff Loud saw.
Sure.
But I'm not against it. I don't necessarily agree with that fully, because I don't think it's the perfect meta composition, but I think what they're doing is, when this team is a squad that's like fully committed to the idea, when they can play something that can be a little bit more gimmicky, a little bit more off-kilter, they tend to make that work. For me, it's a question of execution, because honestly, there's no time between Americas and now, or between their first match and now, to go and reinvent themselves.
I can also understand why they decide to risk it. I mean, we've even seen some teams, I think the general narrative has been in EMEA around Fnatic's compositions. Maybe they're a little bit too predictable and easier for teams to play against, both from the community, and I've heard it from teams that they've played against. against.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things where I don't mind if teams decide to come in and say, okay, we might not be able to prepare it to 100%, but we've got to try to stay ahead of the curve rather than be a little bit too predictable playing the best way that we know we can. It's an idea that sometimes you get punished for, but I always respect teams for trying it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like peak PaperX, where I was never a lover of the peak PaperX comps. And I don't love on paper these loud comps, but when you have a team that's fully committed behind it, can implement it well, you can be successful.
Of course, but we'll see how this actually all plays out for them as we jump into the matchup. For now, let's actually send it over to Mika Fabs, who's standing by with a quick word from Duis.
Hey Tuis, how are you feeling?
Good.
Good, awesome. Okay, we have Arthur here to help with some translation. I wanted to know, give us a little sneak peek behind the scenes. What's been Loud's biggest challenge so far at this tournament?
Então, a gente quer saber, pouco atrás das cenas, qual é o maior desafio da Loud até agora aqui no campeonato?
Eu acho que o horário tá complicando bastante a gente, o jet lag tá pegando firme e é isso.
I would say it's like the time shift thing, like it's actually giving us some trouble to deal with. Like jet lag is hitting very hard, but that's pretty much it.
Well, hopefully you guys have got some good rest today. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
These international events are always going to be tough here, right? Jet lag, traveling, but that's the job though, right? So I hope to see that, these boys in Loud, Mitch, they've woken up a little bit, they get ready for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we were a little disappointed with the form that we saw them playing on. This is a team that has high expectations, and sure, we can talk about Masters performances, but after playing on the international stage, doing so well at Champs, you have to feel like they're soon to break that curse. The pressure can't really be getting to them on this stage compared to what they were facing in LA, and the level of competition here, I think this is the easiest matchup they'll have had so far in that aspect up against FPX.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that Loud is a team that I never worry about the pressure because of the experience, and Tuis is a great example of that. This guy was a rookie when he came into the team at the beginning of last year, and he instantly stepped up to the plate, changing his role over to controller, and he's just been so damn consistent ever since then. I feel like there's like a hierarchy in Loud of there's a star player, you forget about the next one down the line. It was Aspas to Les last year, and now I feel like it's Les taking all the thunder. Well, Tuis is quietly having insane matches.
Yeah.
He was doing it consistently in Americas and consistently here in Madrid as well. He is an incredibly stoic site anchor, always getting his when someone comes to his site.
Such a reliable hand.
Yeah, and also when he's like playing the OMEN, does a great job of setting up his teammates with paranoia. He plays into the system well, but is also still kind of a star player. Because remember, before Loud, this guy was just a tier 2 duelist, fragging out in Brazil.
Yeah, and now we see him really starting to come into his own in the second year as a part of this organization. But at the start of this year, all eyes were actually on QCK, and they were wondering whether or not he could fit into the system that satic has built. So earlier, Mitch, who's right here next to us, by the way, sat down with the pair to see how they've gotten to know one another.
Welcome back to Duo Qs. This time we are joined by QCK and satic from Team Loud, and we've got a couple of questions to ask you guys. Firstly, thank you so much for joining me, gentlemen.
Thank you for the invitation.
Now, for you guys at home, these two players are going to be asked questions to see how well they know each other, and they're going to have to write down their answers on the whiteboard without showing each other, and then they'll reveal to the class, and we'll see if they can get the same answers. Let's start with our first question, gentlemen. What is satic's favorite agent? Ok, go.
Eu sei que você gosta de banks. Começa por aí. Eu sei que você vai botar.
Não, não sabe não, mano.
Será que não?
Não, porque eu trocou todo o seu G.
Eu tô pronto.
I'm ready.
Calma aí. Vambora.
All right, I'll give you a countdown. You ready?
Yes.
Let's reveal your answers. 3, 2, 1. Show the class. Different directions.
Não, foi mentiroso.
Oh, that's a failure on the first one. Both have flashes at least. It's something.
That's what he said, like, I know you like flashes.
That was a good guess then.
Não,
Well,
acho que você vai ser Fênix, cara.
now it's time to put the shoe on the other foot. This time you're going to be tested, satic. What is QCK's favorite genre of music?
Okay.
Oh, that was quick. That was quick. He's straight to right
Ah,
now.
ele vai acertar, mano.
Só que eu não sei como você cria, mano. É...
Normal.
Okay,
I'm ready.
let's reveal to the class what you wrote. Go ahead. Oh, okay. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
It's because I didn't know how it's Like the name in Portuguese.
Não, mas tá certo.
É isso, né?
good.
Happy e funk, né?
Tá certo.
Very
That's
nice.
good.
Okay,
Oh
we're
my
on the mark, on
God.
the money.
As usual, the captain, big brain.
All right, I wouldn't get too confident yet. Let's see the next question. This is another test for you, QCK. From the team, which player would satic want to be handcuffed to for a day?
Mano, eu vou colocar um.
That's a full day, from breakfast until you go to bed.
Ai, será? Tem dois, tem uma dúvida gigantesca.
Tem um que você pensa que é nem fudendo, tá? Deixa eu te falar.
Isso que eu ia colocar. Ah, então eu sei já. Pronto?
Okay, let's see what you guys wrote. Reveal your answers.
Ah!
Okay.
Eu vou botar boia, né?
Não, eu ia botar o lesbo.
Imagina estar de mão com boia, me mata. Com todo respeito, né?
Well, we are running out of time, but the last question is very quick. Would QCK rather vacation on a beach or on a mountain? If you get this right, you're ahead on points. You win the game.
Você vai errar, cara. Mas
Pronto.
tudo bem.
I'm confident about this one.
Okay.
Eu posso escrever em português, né?
The captain could take it here.
Nossa, ficou ridículo, mas tudo bem. Bora.
All right. Reveal to the class what you wrote. Let's see.
Errou. Praia?
Você falou que não gostava de praia?
Não, tá louco, cara.
Você falou que não gostava de praia?
Não. Mas eu vou passar férias na montanha.
Me mentiu,
Eu vou
mano.
fazer o que na montanha?
Eu te falei,
mano?
você gostava de praia? E falou, não, você não vê que eu sou branquinho?
Ah, para.
Mentiroso. It's a liar.
Well, we've ended 1-1. It's a tie at the end of the day. A good performance, at least, and now he doesn't get to gloat. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and the very best of luck in the tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, the best part about that was after we cut and we got our mics off, Satic turned to me and said, "You've killed our team now after that." They had such an argument over the beach or the mountain.
Yeah, I was able to understand a little bit of it, and Benoya, I'd never seen that word before, so that caught me off guard. But the mountain, I thought, I wouldn't want to go to the mountains. That sounds like a wonderful.
I mean, the beach sounds nice too.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's what Satic was saying. He was like, "What the hell are you going to do on a mountain?"
But then you get sand in your feet, and it's coarse and it's everywhere. All right, guys. So let's move on to Loud's opponent. We got FPX on the other side of that stage. Now, they did get 2-0'd by Carmine Core on day one, but I think a lot of people going into that one, Mimi, felt like FPX showed us some pretty solid individual skill. Like their 1v1s, it felt as if they were taking confidence battles, which was pretty big for them in comparison to what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, that's the thing, if nothing else, that FPX will never lack. I mean, life was insane on this game. Autumn was having his moments. The players will frag out. But I also felt, in particular on the second map, they were showing us a little bit more depth. I thought compared to the first time we saw Berlin, where he was like lurking every round on Fade and doing a lot of, honestly, really troll stuff. Here, there was a little bit more sensibility in the way they were playing. They were still taking those risks, taking those individual moments, but I think they were actually playing a solid mid-round on that attack of Lotus, and it really showed that China as a region, and this team in particular, has gained some more depth while still having those chaotic roots.
Well, this is the thing, you know, Lotus was really what drew my eye as well, because looking at it, there were a couple rounds, round 15, round 19. If either one of those goes to FPX up against KC, this is somewhere that they could have actually taken the map. And considering KC, you were 13-11 against Sentinels, that's not bad to have that close of a fight between a team that a lot of people pinned as favorites coming in, at least as top four. Now they're struggling. I think FPX have done a world of a job coming into this event. Again, though, it sucks to be sitting opposite competition like Loud, because the expectations are so much higher on that other side.
I think a lot of people internationally have kind of looked down on this team, but remember, 44 teams in the international leagues, only 8 made it. FPX qualified here for a reason. They are not a bad team. They may play a very different style than the other squads, but they can catch you off guard. This is not a freebie by any means for Loud.
Oh, I totally agree with you on that one, Mimi, and I'm excited to jump into this matchup. But before we do that, though, we actually have Mika standing by this time around with FPX's life to get some words from him.
Hi Hi, Live. Can we pull you aside for a quick question? All right, so Live, you've been one of the top performers of the team so far. How do you deal with the pressure knowing that eyes are on you, especially for this match because it's an elimination match? We have Luna here to help with some translation.
那来福选手，你也是队内表现非常突出的选手之一嘛？那面对今天的这场淘汰赛，尤其又是这么的备受关注，你将会如何应对这些压力呢？
我觉得就用以往的经验，还有平常训练的自信吧，对。
I think we just used our experience from a previously matchup and our confidence from our practice. That's all.
All right, good luck to the team. Shish it.
Say they want to use the experience of their previous matchup. Well, Life, you know, if it's the previous matchup, I'm looking forward to seeing what Life could do in this one and going up against Loud.
Dude, Life was unbelievable in this game. I was not a big fan of how FPX was playing the Icebox. I felt like they were kind of lacking on how they were playing the Reyna Gecko combo. And then 6 rounds into the game, Life just decides, hey, I'm going to win. Just starts running down A every round and absolutely decimating Carmine Core. This guy is a talent who can compete with the best of them.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things you always say about Reyna is if you pick up this agent, you're not really providing that much to the team. You've got to have a good day. If you come out 13 and 13, I don't care. If anything, you should be playing something else. Life made a case.
I mean, almost throws his chair off the stage at the end there. The guy, I think, is also bringing a ton of energy to this team, right? You see when he's popping off, he's yelling, he's screaming, he's getting up out of his chair. He's a huge source of life for his team.
I hate that you did that, because if I did that, you would have made fun of me.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair.
I'm becoming more like you every day.
I know. What are you going to say, Miss?
But one of the things about Life and in playing that Reyna was that, and again, the composition in general, it left a lot of space on that defensive side. They weren't able to cover a lot of the time. I think some of the util you're going to have to use typically to bypass likes a Killjoy utility, locking down Kitchen. You don't have this to fall back on necessarily. And this is, I guess, the problem. The other thing is if Life comes up against an opponent who's waiting for those pushes and winning those fights. So far, that didn't happen. He was hitting his shots almost every single time. Had a fantastic map 1 especially. But it's always in the back of my mind that, like, on an off day, you're just tanking your team's win rate.
Yeah, and I will say when this team did lose momentum towards the end of that KC match, it really started to fall apart. In a post-match interview, Auden was talking about the fact how this team's comms were getting super hectic. People were yelling. It was way louder than normal and really kind of falling into the chaos once they started losing, which is tough, especially when you're in a multilingual team where Auden is still like learning to speak Chinese with the rest of his squad. So they really need to, I think, focus on composure today, especially when they get a lead.
Yeah,
if they get a lead.
Because you know, on the other side of that stage, Loud's going to have that in spades, and that's going to be something that they're going to need to pay attention to. Now, we asked you guys earlier about, you know, Mastercard fan poll. We had some fun. We asked you some questions. We asked you which team is going to be seeing an early exit here, and the results are in, and it turns out China. They believe no FPX believers, Mimi.
It's not surprising. This would be a massive upset if FPX could win this series. They've never won a series at international events before. EDG has been really, I think, the only Chinese team we've seen thus far who can compete with teams the like of Loud. So this is going to be a tough one. But FPX on a good day, when their players are hitting, they are a very strong upset squad. And Loud has looked weak this tournament. It's not impossible to win this one and avoid elimination.
No, not at all. Especially if the veto goes their way. Something like a Lotus, like we've talked about, would be wise for Loud to avoid, considering how strong they've looked up against other competition who are good on the map. There's a lot of potential for FPX for sure. If Loud do come in shaky, like we've been saying, I would be very, very worried for this squad, because the reality is, like you said, Mimi, and I'm definitely guilty of this, like the international scene has underestimated FPX from what we've seen in some of these days so far. But again, we need to see them kind of take the win before people are going to give them that credit. Close games aren't really enough to win the general audience's approval.
But for Loud, they absolutely need to win
absolutely.
this.
The expectation is there.
If a team like Loud, after their year last year, after the pedigree of this squad, after their run in Americas, if they go out 0-2, it is a massive, massive upset.
Well, let's see what we're going to be playing for this series and jump into the map select with our coaches and find out what battleground we're playing in today.
Welcome to the map select presented by OMEN for match 1. FPX, you're going to be the higher seed. Team A or Team B?
Team B.
Team B. So Loud, you will be Team A, and we will start with your first ban.
Lotus.
Lotus, your ban?
Split.
Split, and map number 1 coming from Loud.
Sunset.
Sunset. FPX side on Sunset.
Attack.
Attack, and map number 2? Breeze, side on Breeze.
Attack.
Attack. Okay, next set of bans starting with Loud, you have Ascent, Bind, and Icebox.
We ban Bind.
And Bind. Your ban, you have Ascent and Icebox.
We ban Ascent.
Ban Ascent, so map number 3 is going to be Icebox. Loud, side on Icebox.
Attack.
All right, good luck to you both.
Okay. Love it.
This series is going to start on Sunset. Both these teams have played Phoenix at home. I think they're the two craziest squads in terms of composition we have at Madrid. This match is going to be wild.
Yeah, Sunset's always a fun one, folks. But today we got 4 teams that are going to take the stage, but only 2 will live to fight another day. Let's do this.
A lot of the teams have had like a wake-up call that, you know, we've actually got some real competition this year. Yeah, I think teams have to work a lot harder.
It's all unforsaken. The utility 2 flashes will now no longer. EDG finally bested HyperX.
I felt like we're not playing up to our performance yet, but I believe that we will overcome this.
He's 90 HP finding another 3 for Forsaken.
I really believe that we are gonna stomp every upcoming game and we're gonna become even stronger. It's our home crowd and we're gonna show it.
Heretics taking us the distance.
It doesn't matter if you lose the first day. For me, it's just a warm-up day.
I think HyperX is playing really individually. I don't see a good team play on their team. So if we shoot heads, everything is going to be fine.
We lose to EDG. We're not going to lose again.
我觉得是时候让其他赛区看看 VCT 的厉害。对，差不多。他们看看我们的。以前他们都会觉得我们很好打或什么轻视我们。现在今天之后不一样了，我们依然会很自信的去面对下一场比赛，然后在这之中会很好的去复盘，然后去改善一切的问题。
Uma derrota é sempre importante para mostrar nossos erros e ver como a gente pode contornar a situação. Então, vocês podem esperar que terá uma loja muito melhor e muito mais constante para o próximo game.
无论我们接下来遇到谁，我希望你们不要小瞧我们，我们会让你大吃一惊的。
Take your pick, take your time, son, because this is you lighting the world on fire. Live with you.
No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. Le di la razón al que me quiso ver bien. Lo soñé en mi habitación y ahora en primera me ven. No te hablo del avión, vine por mi cinturón. FPX. No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego
It's a classic David versus Goliath. FPX still fishing for that first series win at an international tournament. And on the other side of them, they're facing off against not one, but 2 world champions and some stacked talent in Loud. It's safe to say this is going to be a tall order for the Chinese team. But if there's anything that we've learned from this tournament, Mimi, is that this squad can do it. They just got to find it in them.
They do, but they're up against Loud, the team at this tournament with the longest pedigree of success. Sadak has led roster after roster to international events, and they almost always succeed. But there is that history in the back of your head of a Masters tournament or 2, knocked out in 2 matches. It's happened before.
It's actually quite fascinating given the circumstances with Loud and FPX here, right? Because it's like, you look at these Masters events, Loud kind of struggling. FPX still looking for that first series win. You kind of have a situation where FPX could maybe get the better of them here.
I mean, when Crew was struggling, one of their first big wins in Copenhagen was knocking out Loud. It has happened before where teams come up and get these upset wins.
Yeah, they find them on weaker form, which is exactly what we've seen Loud come into this tournament on. I mean, everything seems to be lined up for FPX to have that miracle victory here and push deeper, further into this tournament. I don't know. I feel like the starting battleground, though, for Loud, somewhere they were close against Sentinel, somewhere they beat EG earlier on in the year, this is not exactly a weakness for them. And while on the side of FPX, I'm not sure they'll be able to match up pound for pound. Life needs to have a life game.
That's 2.
We can't do it twice in one shot.
You have to.
Anyways, Sunset, this is the map where I like Loud's Phoenix Breach comp the best. I think it's a map where getting away with playing no dive is very doable. That's because on the attack, most of your sight hits end up being splits either through mid or through elbow on B anyway, so you can get away with that. And having that extra flash power means you have great retakes, a much more proactive defense focused on that extremity control, and also on your attack, you have a ridiculous amount of ults that you can start to snowball, especially since Phoenix, you get a new ult every 6.
Yeah, it's somewhere you're going to be competing across. You know, I feel like this is somewhere for Loud. They've come in, they've been a little frozen, they've been cold. It's been winter for this squad, and hopefully it'll start to thaw. They'll find themselves on the other side in autumn. But on the other side, Autumn, he's been unbelievable. I've really enjoyed seeing this guy flourish on this international stage. I don't know how many times he's been able to bail them out of tough situations, and on a Phoenix, even more so.
He was dominating in first kills just the other day. This guy's really good, I think, at taking pretty strategic fights and winning them consistently for the squad. The first Australian to ever make an international event in Valorant, and he's making OCE proud thus far.
And what I really hope to see as well from this FPX team is just some proactivity. You know, I just want them to just kind of catch Loud off guard, really put satic in a position where he has to like really use that massive brain of his to come up with something creative. I like to use this phrase, punch in the face. I kind of wish that there's something that FPX does before.
The thing is, though, you say that, but I think FPX can push that scale too far a lot of the times, where Life and Autumn go off, and they're going for these fast entries, and they're getting split off, and they end up dying. We saw that in the first part of Icebox against KC, where they were early investing. Sure, they were early investing, things like their Gecko util, dumping that into sight, and then they were scaling in a way where the spacing was just wrong, and they were getting picked to pieces. We need to see an FPX that is keeping their fundamentals in the forefront of their mind if they want to beat a team like Loud, who even when they're struggling, have some of the best fundamentals in the game.
And on the other side, actually on the side you're talking about, Loud, right? This is a squad that I think for QCK, he's been having some struggles in fitting into that entry role.
That's true.
Now, if he does come in still locking that Phoenix up against FPX, this is somewhere that I can't pull out any excuses for him. He should be firing off on the way through.
So something that, you know, I think is important to note as well is when we talked to satic in Americas, right, one of the things that he said was getting QCK on this lineup just gave them more flexibility options, gave them more that they could do. But to the point that everyone's been saying here, it's that I do feel like at a certain point, yes, QCK is fitting more of a role than rather than being a star player.
Sure.
But yeah, I kind of feel like you're going to need your boy to step up here at this point in time, right? Really make your name on the stage today.
You absolutely do. There's a reason we're in the face of Valorant where we're past having IGLs that don't frag, right? Like actually having people who are shooting back, who are popping off. And I'm not saying QCK wasn't at any point in time, because at his worst he's been fine, you know? We've
he's done his job.
Excellent before.
Good.
Yeah, that is so true. Because that's the thing. He's a role player, right? Sometimes having guys like that on your team can go a super long way. But, you know, you also kind of had a situation where they were replacing a guy like Aspas, who was a really impactful because it's freaking Aspas. So like, there's a lot of big shoes to fill there, but I'm excited to see what Loud can do, Mitch, especially with this game if they try and get a little funny with it.
Oh, that's sick. I'm gonna need to find out where that jacket came from. I need one or two. And you know, this is the other thing. Just circling back to the QCK Phoenix, the composition that they run gives him so much room to play with. You're talking about all the extra things they can do. Well, with a Breach, with an Omen, with a Viper, and a Sova to support you. Yeah. This is somewhere that I think FPX, if they're caught out of position, if Loud can push and pull the map, there should be no problem for QCK breaking through. Like I said, he's been good and playing his role. He's been going in and going down, but we know that the potential for QCK, the ceiling, is a lot higher. He can burst those sites, blow those sites way open by himself.
Here we go, Agent Select coming in, and we, okay, so they're gonna be rolling with the Chamber FPX for life, which could be quite helpful for them potentially.
So the biggest difference between these two comps is for one, FPX has that Sentinel on their defense. They have a little bit of more control. Generally, if you're kind of leaving your Chamber alone on one side, that's what you allows. That's what it allows. Loud is playing Sentineless, which means their defense needs to be perfect. They cannot be leaving these holes. If so, they will get infiltrated by FPX. But, I mean, honestly, Mitch, just a wild comp head-to-head that we're getting Phoenix versus Phoenix in 2024.
Yeah, even though you see it say that FPX hasn't played the comp before, that is what they've been running regionally. They've looked okay there, but this is a whole different challenge.
All right, folks, well, this is it. The first match of the day, our first elimination match of the day is going to get started. Who better to send some people home than Pansy and Hypoc? Am I right, guys?
You're not wrong, GB. Absolutely hate everyone. You're on the money.
Can't wait to see someone lose, apparently.
Love an upset, love people upset. You know, misery loves company, and we are here. However, there is a real factor to this that we do need to address. One of these two teams will be going home. Now, Loud had a pretty tough game up against Gen.G. 2-1 in the end. Now, bigger picture, we don't know how that looks here. We need to see how this competes, because Carmine Core swept FPX. We're right in.
So Life taking a little stab there. They would have TP out, but contact found early on. QCK and 2Es having to post up here. 3 members allowed, actually.
They're doubling down on this.
Yeah, they're pushing through.
Oh,
I saw, didn't see it.
Loud are so close to this. This could be devastating. Timing's everything, right? Like, can they keep control of what's going on elsewhere? Deciding to go all the way around T-spawn, not kind of slicing through tiles, which is where the vast majority of FPX currently resides. So Les needs to be really careful here. He does have Counting by his side, and that's exceptional work from Loud. Clear cut and concise. Lysor has no idea what the hell just happened, but that was just a sweep.
Now, half a second either way, Lysor maybe spots this out, finds the opening kill, and shuts down what looks like a very, very well-planned pistol round here from Loud. Get a consolation here, potentially no. QCK
clean,
quick to it. Loud will start the map here with a flawless. Gonna send a message here to FPX. No strangers to elimination games on either side here.
True.
Beautiful setup here. Yeah, I mean the fault line.
Stunning.
More than a cosmetic stun.
No,
you get worried on a pistol round.
You do, you do. There is always that slight question mark, but no, that was very clean work from Loud. And I think it'll be interesting to see how Loud look in this series, bigger picture.
Well, yeah, because I think Gen.G's performance afterwards kind of
changed my perspective.
You almost feel a little better about Loud losing, right?
Yes,
if that's
absolutely
a way to look at it. Let's open up here. Life power player for FPX down. Autumn tagged up as well. Obviously the ability to heal, but no follow through from FPX just yet.
No, let's see if they can achieve anything with this one. Tricky, obviously with Classics, this map not particularly comfortable. Lysor did get a little bit of space, so that could be relayed into those later rounds. If maybe that's something they could explore, but for now you can see them taking the tour. This will probably play in, if anyone. There's going to be QCK over there. Yeah, so let's see how much he gets. He's heard something, enough to turn his attention back. Maybe just the time, no one's seeing anything. That's not pretty enough. He does get at least 2 of them.
30 HP.
Yeah, tough. But another individual fight could open up the potential of a plant. Let's see if he can maybe get the drop, but Cowanzine, yeah, the timing. Nicely done by Cowanzine. Crest the corner, finds him,
I think off the back of that, actually, QCK does get his ultimate, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes,
tools,
he does.
Tools to bring in here. Obviously loses out on the rifle, but we'll try and spread the funds accordingly. Want to put him in a position if they do want to cook something up around the ultimate for this round. We'll pass across, get him a Bulldog at least. Expected, obviously, with this composition, I mean, I agree with Mimi, this is almost the better showing of this composition. The ability to be very proactive, set QCK in motion. So that Kawanzin hasn't got an assist yet. Doesn't really matter, even after the pistol round there.
Did well enough for
Yeah.
himself. It could have supported the player beside him, but I mean, if you're there, you're there. Now the bonus does have a great deal of bite to it here for Loud, but Life's position a little further ahead than less expected. So going to get the drop on him and open up a big avenue of chance. Now does this spur on QCK potentially? Already set into play somewhat by that Owl drone through middle. He is waiting very much on the jump-off point. Bit of stall, and actually, this is quite audacious from Kawanzin. Does recover the Bulldog there.
Toying with the idea of dipping a little deeper in the smoke, but pings come through from FPX. I think noting, or potentially noting somebody towards market. Don't like what they saw. They do have themselves a very favourable fight towards 8. 2, he's not committed.
No, sitting quite deep. They still have the Paranoia. Still have near on full kit, barring the Owl drone for satic. Kawanzin pretty well situated, and so is QCK. So they could run a pretty good retake if they get there, but again, keep your eyes towards QCK. He should have been able to clear B by this point, so they could alleviate all the pressure. Now seeing this utility towards A, this should be a comfortable rotate, and you got to look for that backstab. How much value does QCK find? Little bit of stall on the one-way.
So he's just trying to go over the top.
There it is.
Yeah, he spotted them.
Oh, chip damage, not going to convert to a kill, but that's the site found, and the flank is on the way. Eyes towards QCK here, potential victim. Does he find it? No, dealt with. QCK, that's going to lose a lot of the punch from this round. Loud now looking very vulnerable. 2 E's in Kawanzin. Lovely work to bring it back to a 2v2. How dare I doubt them.
Great for them.
No, Lysor loses the fight, and this is ridiculous. Autumn, come on. No flashes to play through on that smoke, and doesn't get too invested on the tap on the spike, but now he has to go. He's got to take this challenge. Halfway not achieved. Autumn plays it well. FPX get across the line, but that's a dicey full buy up against a bonus.
A little sketchy, but a round win nonetheless. Loud making things very difficult for FPX there. Even when QCK falls there, it removes a big tool in terms of the retake. Yeah, a number of kills coming through.
One enemy remaining.
From both 2Es and Kawanzin. Kawanzin a little bit of hesitation here, obviously, to come off. He was just ahead of the half defuse. And 2Es in a good position to hold the cross there as well, so definitely an opportunity for Loud to pull that off. But Red Bull clutch nonetheless for Autumn. Let's have his run it back now available also.
A little bit of an adjustment over towards A, though. 2 players willing to hold towards A main. And satic. Life knows they're there.
He's at a really weird spot.
It's adjusted well enough, though. Loud going to get the first blood and fall away. No trade available. You see Berlin back towards the T side of the map. They are congregating this side. I'm waiting to see if the third player does start shifting away towards maybe top mid, but they're not going for it just yet. Still aware there's a chance this could be a fake. Ult going to come through. And 2E's respecting this enough to really not want to tussle with it.
Yeah, conceding the space. There's no real follow-through from FPX, but it has drawn a bit of a rotation. It's only QCK over on this side of the map now. Just holding contact towards main. Potentially going to spot this out. Yes, he will. Finds actually a headshot.
Oof.
We'll slow things down on the way in as the spike makes its way over. Yeah, Loud. Very well equipped on both sides here.
Could be a plan, though. I don't think Loud can really deny
stop
that.
this, no.
They've still got a little bit of a glimpse towards middle when you're keeping in mind Autumn's position, but he will probably... he either has to go and be proactive or fall back towards B main. We have to wait and see what they opt for. Looking for that deep smoke towards main. This should start off the retake. Ult invested from QCK. Spots the player, takes him down. Can't get the follow-up in the ult, but...
It's FPX finding the kills.
Yeah, they're still holding on here, but Autumn's luck. There's the timing he was looking for, and it's worked so well for them. Les is in a than wanted position here. Hard to close down on the final 3. I think he knows it. They're not giving him much. Loved that late play coming out from Autumn. I was wondering when he was going to enact that plan, and it was just perfectly timed. Loud have to accept This round's a loss, and FPX going to tie up the scoreline.
Beautiful fight back as well. Numbers advantage for Loud in the retake. See immediately QCK finds out. I mean, if he does get that kill, maybe a different story, but Berlin looking very clean here. Shut down both the ultimate and QCK on the re-aggress. Great conversion from FPX. Closer and closer to that Hunter's Fury. You have the Reckoning available here. Loud on the other side, a lesser purchase, so. Guardian and a Stinger. Things will kick off here into round 5. I'm curious of, on some of these lesser purchases, just how proactive Loud are looking to be and make use of this combo.
Right here.
FPX seems as if, I guess, the first few rounds are a big indicator of how Loud want to play in there. Looking a lot more cautious. Still struggling to find an opener over on this side of the map.
Here.
You can see straight away FPX is just waiting to read something.
Yeah, a bit of a test of their default coming into this. Damage on satic seemingly enough to draw their eyes back towards LA site. I don't think they'd noted Tui's.
No.
But again, Tui's does just have the Sheriff, but a couple good shots could help. But I like this heads-up work from them. Aldrone is on the way. He's going to have to relinquish this space as well. So very, very diligent up against what is, you know, a little bit of a half purchase here. Ult going to come in as well. So very much going through the motions of what they're trying to do, keeping it very clean, at least until this point. But you don't want to run too low on time now.
30 seconds left, Loud conceding sight. Have to comfortably find themselves a post plant here. And really want Cow and Zing QCK to be the ones to lead the charge here. They're the furthest away from this retake. A little bit of time will pass.
Let's see what they can do with this one. Anyway, they can create a little bit of a fuss here, Loud. FPX digging their heels in, though. It's going to be go time right about now. Autumn good for one, but the trade does come out towards Berlin. I'm still holding back this flood from CT, not really finding the value until then. Tui's and Calentine drawing blood, and a swing to the site. Life's now pretty questioning what the hell's going on. No idea about Tui's, but a fantastic clutch from him in the end. Keeps the composure, keeps his cool, and keeps FPX now in the lead.
He was struggling to find an opener. Closing, not so much of an issue.
No.
Beautiful cleanup from Life after Loud. Look as if they're about to sweep their way back onto site here. Beautifully done. Left to just be a nuisance here on the flank.
One enemy remaining.
Fantastic stuff from him. Actually give FPX the lead here. Now we'll come back on a purchase. Some ultimates starting to come online here, but Hunter's Fury in a tour de force. FPX looking to pace change a little bit. They're rewarded for it.
They've completely called off Loud with that pace shift. That gear switch up. Oh, and the follow-up as well. FPX with the excellent read. The additional body was satic. They may not know about this, but even then, how much can one man do? Not clean enough. He's in trouble now. And Autumn's going to back away, get himself healed back up to fighting force. And look on the other side, still keeping some grip on this, but QCK clears the back lines. I don't know if they noted the spike. I think that's around the corner, but still a little bit of a blow for blow here.
Ultimate in hand now for QCK, but FPX with the right read once again to switch things up, knowing Loud are posting up pretty deep. Outside A lobby, catching them off guard here at the start of this round. Fortunately, losing out on the other side of the map. Life's in a position to cut off this rotation here.
Oh, the timing. I mean, if they keep...
No problem is, yeah, Sadak's walking this way as well.
He just got the God read on the timing. Sadak, with a second opportunity at this, right? You think about that time, he was almost... They didn't really expect him towards that A-link side.
This could be disastrous here.
The timing's everything. This time he's got the job done. Takes down Life and leaves the last two. It's so indicative that they're going towards A now. With only 14 seconds, they have to commit. They've got to get that spike down. And everyone's here, but Autumn going to keep the plant safe for a second. Sadak finally draws in closer. Lysor can't do it. Loud getting proactive there even after losing those first two players towards A. they still push that B main side.
Another situation, just a half second either way. Would have sniffed out this flank coming through from Loud. Yeah, well played from satic here, not getting too greedy, no overcommit. He does find that kill onto Life. Like I said, the flash catching both of them. You see, obviously, Berlin just off screen. But it's unfortunate because FPX, I think, read this perfectly with what Loud are trying to achieve early round outside 8. Look to shut it down here and send a message, make a response. See how that's going to change things going forwards, actually. Looking as if it is a deeper hold this time around, but maybe a setup here around the fault line.
Yeah, potentially going to play in QCK off this. Big information, but he's not alone. So close by. Yeah, still didn't get affected by the flash. Slows down the roll. They're very close by, and he wants in. 2 quick kills, but it's going to open up a chance. They're going to know there's 2 more players here. They've seen that utility. They've got to know they're on short. Life going to try and slip a little further ahead, and now here comes the problems. This should be shooting fish in a barrel, but Life still good on value. Still going to find one. Look at the damage. That's rough. Double swing, and the spray's good from satic. Commits to it too. He's close enough that there is no escape.
Right here.
This is a very hard 1v3 with very little space gained around the map beyond this corner.
Tui spots out, Paranoia will land. A ton of utility to deal with here. satic will find the wallbang. And a message sent in response by Loud that we are still happy to fight for this.
Yeah. It's nice to see the adjustment too.
Yeah,
it's a different look
absolutely,
from the previous round as well.
Unfortunately, Autumn not catching really with that flash. And he knows how Life did actually get that kill onto Cowanzine there. We FPX to pump the brakes first. Call a timeout. Loud looking a little more fluid, a little more reactive today.
And that's kind of what we're looking at, is what form are Loud in. I think we've seen the highs and lows. And the question is, how much can FPX push that? Can they continue getting their face? That 3-round streak, they had a great read. They were playing very well. A couple of individuals stepping up. Autumn and Life with some fantastic moments for themselves. But as a collective now, you can already see Loud have adjusted, right? We just already noted, we kind of talked about it a little bit. That adjustment on A, it went from 1 player, I think it was just 2 he's holding it, to now 3 in 2 different variations. So what does FPX have as a read on that here? This is time to maybe mull that over.
Sure, and I think obviously where FPX's composition does excel is where they can get themselves towards a site. So you know what Berlin's utility can do to cut off. We've even seen the awareness from Tui's as well, to play a couple of spots early on to, I guess, try and negate that as best as possible, get some information over the top of that wall coming through onto A site. But yeah, curious. FPX early round haven't really, I mean, 1 round where they lose out on B side, but it's been this pretty tame default we've seen time and time again. And now we're at round 8, so it's there's a couple of question marks elsewhere. Do you start exploring mid now? It needs to be pretty well coordinated and invested. You want to do that this late in the game. This late in the half, I should say. Still options here. Hunter's Fury, and run it back for FPX, and it might just be, yeah, exploration towards mid, as anticipated.
You can see the protocols already hitting into place. Tui's going to shut the door. But it looks like a top mid burst, but already quite a deep hold from satic, so probably won't get fully affected by this flash. No. Dips away on the corner. Should play in Tui's now. You noted that Paranoia coming through. Caught a couple of them. Going to draw in less as well. There's 3-man kind of pressure towards middle. Not rewarding, but maybe looking at the extremities to find that pick.
No problem being now. Lysol will be called upon. QCK and Cowanzine posted up pretty deep here, but they're going to hold their position.
They're trying to make a scramble. Oh, the spam. Autumn's going to obviously keep going, but again, it's well controlled by Loud. They've held on nicely to this point. A little bit of danger going to be coming in. satic has connected towards Life. First did go towards Berlin, finding Tui's, but that was on the other side of the map. Less valuable towards this A hit, but it now falls to less. Do they check this? Does he get played in so perfectly? And again, oh wait, they must have seen him.
He saw him, yeah. Autumn turned.
And now it's uncomfortable. Oh, it's so good from Les. Punishing Lysor as he tried to bail them out. And then drifting back towards B, a correct read from Loud to get back to the side. FPX trying to scramble again, 15 seconds, the cross being watched, and Les is just looking so on the money here. He does get denied though. QCK, Cowanzine nearby. Oh my god, but time, 6 seconds. Does he know how close by satic is? No. And heartbreak at the end there, because FPX almost thriving in that chaos. But Loud controlling it in the end and keeping that 3 in a row going.
Beautiful damage control from satic early on, and Tui's as well, to really shut down this mid push. Comes out as a curveball, I think, early on. The information gathered nonetheless. Yeah, FPX switching things up just when you expect them to. Problem being they don't have the benefit of the economy to fall back on now. Couple of ultimates, yes, but like Loud with those 3 rounds in succession, feel like they are in some control, but Life still chomping at the bit to find an opener. Rewarded this time around. Let's go in walkabouts as well.
In a round like this, a misread potentially, you've given so much opportunity to FPX. Double stack towards top middle. Now make it 3. Just kind of roaming the map, and they're reading this as a B take, correctly so. The utility not so subtle on the way, but can FPX continue along this trajectory? Berlin with a rifle, still in hand. Young still has one as well, so there is a little bit of threat to this. And the Viper's Pit on top.
The Pit definitely causes some problems for Loud here. Need to step the pace up a little bit. Find a kill ideally here, but FPX is going to tuck themselves back in towards main, not risk anything.
They got to get a move on. They got to get going. This Viper's Pit's not going to keep going anywhere. They're going to be sitting on this one. And actually, maybe feels over the top to use it. They're in very good control here. Berlin's position is excellent. Going to punish the barrel that just showed through. Going to put himself on the line pretty much just to make sure no one's trying to go for that defuse. And FPX lap up the opportunities that are left for them. Loud with a mistake there in my mind.
Giving away 2 openers here. And FPX pounce on the opportunity. Yeah, and I'm with you. Hunter's Fury, maybe not necessary, but to convert around like this after 3 unanswered, absolutely. Get themselves back in the game. Themselves a big boom in terms of the funds as well. Look at that coming out of a purchase like that. Most players sitting around, what, 2,300 and above are in Lysort. Yeah, uncharacteristic of Loud. Less, he'll do the same thing again with the security of his wall, but Life just can't TP away in time. Now noting a second here, and noting a difference in the setup, because it's typically Autumn and Life over towards A side, being the ones to push and prod and try and find an opener.
This is the telltale signs of a B hit. More contact made. UCK going to show his hand a little. Stalling out towards B main, but there hasn't been any utility from FPX committed towards the site, particularly more individual from Autumn. This doesn't feel like a site hit yet, and it's not moving Loud.
Other than it being these 2 on this side of the map. Loud are probably happy after the previous round to sit back and look to respond as opposed to be decisive.
And they haven't noted Tui's with that operator either.
No.
That's been quietly waiting over towards A. They're still going to have to use a fair bit of utility to clear close, which they're doing now, so this should be ringing the alarm bells that Loud might know this could be A piece, but look at that top mid timing. Berlin and Autumn. This could be exceptional, but it's a 1-for-1. It's still valuable enough that it's pinned in Loud. They're in trouble here. So now they need to win out on the site, though. There's still a fight to be had. 20 seconds, all eyes turning towards Autumn, allowing safe passage, but Tui's takes him down. 15 seconds. They don't know about satic until now, and what a horrible surprise it was. And he's just spraying and praying, and it works.
He had a smile on his face before the round ended there. Well handled by Loud. Like I said, after the opener, happy to sit back and without having, I guess, the tangibles, the information they've learned so far in this half. Making the numbers work.
You can see the little smile at the end. That's rough for FPX. I feel like they're starting to get some of the rhythm. Right, they're getting some of those reads. They're starting to try and pull the attention, pull those fakes. But Loud are a very tricky opponent to do that to. But Life has been very good at some of these entries, some of these openings. But look how deep Loud are sitting now. What another adjustment coming out.
I'll clear through a little bit pacier this time around. Maybe on the back of Autumn's ultimate. Yeah, we'll pop this. Clear a little bit of space. Don't expect anybody from Loud to really be challenging towards this drone. Or the running back, but Tui's actually from the top of the box here finds a kill.
The paranoia's good enough. Made sure he was being kept safe. Toying with expectation on the TP, but this is a plant. So for the first time in a while, yes, they lost out on Berlin, but they do get themselves a plant. They do get the time on their side, but can they hold this? Couple of ults here, nothing critical, but a lot of utility still with Loud. That's the issue. Site looks rather clear. You're going to see them try and flop this now. Cowanzine cracks it open. Counter swing from Life. Oh, but Cowanzine popping off here. This is a problem. That's halfway, and the defuse isn't stopping. There's nothing to be done about it.
Out stretching their legs a little bit here as we approach round 12. A pace change from FPX. Life previously the hero in this sort of situation on the post plant, but not this time around. Oh, Tui didn't even see anything, had no confirmation on the other side of this. Beautiful adjustment from Cowanzine to find the trade with the operator there. Purchase will struggle a little bit for FPX coming in, but a judge in the hands of Life, sort of force available. Expected to round things out for Lysol, who's had a very quiet half, 1 and 10. Look, it might be rinse and repeat here, but I'm pretty sure the power are connected to everyone.
Yeah, and Cowanzine trying to be the one to capitalize on that, but didn't quite have it in time. You're going to see the sort of force out for Life as well, so bit of a rough battle there for Cowanzine, who's going to try and drift away. And they're expecting pressure towards top middle potentially. They're unsure of if this is a fully committed A piece, but it is. 5 players on this side of the map, and a very similar look to that last round. Same kit, same utility, but eyes towards satic. Is he going for that late fact-finding mission? He wants information. He knows where they're coming from. That's going to be relayed to Tui's. But can satic hold the line as well? Can he be a problem? He's going to dip away, and actually the right read here. Right call from satic. Why hit it now? He can take his time. There's still no rotation from QCK.
Cowanzine gets a kill here. Does have the Rolling Thunder, which will open up the retake for Loud. Not they're going to slow things down, yeah, potentially try and get him a kill.
Trying to play him in. Oh, too many targets. Really nicely handled from FPX. There is a trade for Tui's. And now we look at this fully fledged retake. Gorgeous from Life. Holds them away. Needs some more. QCK, though, coming online here. And you've still got less. Playing towards CT side. Almost caught Berlin in the heels, but it's Yang to go down, and Loud breaking FPX hearts there. That was a really good attempt, but it just wasn't enough.
Difficult for them to really find repeatable success here. This A-side post plant. A couple of times has been shut down. Like I said, Life previously the hero with that 4K. Loud, a course correction. Find themselves an 8-4 advantage here in the first half.
Yeah, big turn of events. Loud putting themselves up to 8 gives them so much more leverage. A little worry early on, I'm sure, with those 3 rounds connected. However, let's hear from Loud themselves. Let's hear from Tui's.
Oi, eu sou o Twiz e sou jogador da Loud. Acho que pecamos muito no primeiro mapa, que custou muitos rounds. Eu acho que a gente estava indo muito bem nos treinos. Acho que a gente se adaptou bem com as coisas que a gente tinha e ele encaixou bem. Só que infelizmente a gente não conseguiu mostrar nosso verdadeiro jogo essa série. Acho que com certeza, tipo, pra mim a derrota é sempre boa também, porque mostra pontos fracos seus, então pra mim todas as derrotas eu levei como aprendizado. A gente vai ver os pontos que erramos, ver como a gente pode contornar a situação.
Approach. This is now going to get scary, right? There's the Hunter's Fury, going to be drawn out from the tap of the spike. Spray from Tui's is good. Follow-up is better. They're holding on to this. Munch kick going down, and Tui's. Exceptional work there.
Uma derrota é sempre importante para mostrar nossos erros e ver como a gente pode contornar a situação. Então, vocês podem esperar que terá uma loja muito melhor e muito mais constante para o próximo game.
Looking for more consistency, looking to be the Loud that we know they can be. A lot of doubts coming into this, a lot of question marks. But now at an 8-4, at least in this first half, Mike, they're doing quite fine. I don't think we can oversell it because there was some fight back from FPX, but
yeah, absolutely.
Still, they'll be comfortable with 8.
Like I said previously, Loud, I mean, both Loud and FPX, no strangers to elimination games, no strangers to losses on the international stage, but it's good to hear that's kind of characterized as, yeah, we know we made mistakes here. And, like I said, obviously the follow-up series from Gen.G does give a little more additional context to that.
Absolutely.
You feel a little better about Loud's loss in that series, but back today, we're looking for a lot of those, all the sloppiness that you don't expect from Loud to be cleaned up, and whether or not you can attribute that to, I mean, earlier on in the interview saying that, you know, there's jet lag and stuff, and
hey, it happens.
It does.
but at this point, you've got to also look at FPX when Carmine Core hitting a 2-0 on them. I think a lot of people had exceptionally high expectations when it came to Carmine Core, so seeing that, it wasn't a huge shock, but I want to see more depth to FPX. I want to see more from some of these players who you can see the mechanical capability there by a country mile. There's some of them incredibly talented. So let's see if that can be brought together at the right time here, potentially get them a first international win, as the desk was talking about, is a brutal one when you're facing the likes of Carmine Core and then Loud.
It's awful as well. The longer that goes on, the more elusive that win does feel.
It feels impossible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oof.
I said, you got a tough draw.
Yeah, no one's going to doubt that.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Okay, the recon actually did.
Miscommunication?
Yeah. Maybe there was a little off there. Should be planned who's going to deal with the dart if life's going forwards like that.
That's not...
Looking to potentially re-aggress, though.
Yeah.
Behind the wall.
I mean, Kaunzin's eyeing this up. It's almost a game of chicken. Who dares to go first? But you can already see how proactive FPX are being on the rest of the map. Oh, okay. Come on. QCK, quick as hell. Autumn just left to rot. Now, the one, I guess, small benefit outside of this, you've already got a clear in mid. You've already got Berlin checking on that. There is no late lurk up middle. There is no presence there. Maybe that could help him out in the end, but Life desperate to do something, trying to find some impact this round. But Loud with 3 and potentially a plant have the numbers. But Lysor could be bad here. There's a little window of chance. Nope, it's shut. Less still diligent. Gonna make sure that's checked on. And now with the lack of presence from Berlin, they're gonna be looking for that flank.
Yeah, definitely.
It's too long.
Tui's look curious to start off with. Now obviously retreating back towards elbow. Yeah, nothing really for Berlin to do here. And find it. Way in, and Tui's blind through the wall. We'll find it.
Okay, clean. No more. Yeah, so again, it felt like a miscommunication at the start of that round there. Mike, maybe there was something in mind that just didn't work out, but...
Maybe had an awkward bounce at the end of it we didn't see, but...
it makes you question mark it when that's happening early.
Yeah, definitely. Because that was kind of the pinnacle of FPX's game plan in the first half, is to put Life and Autumn in a position to really deliver at the start of a round.
God. What is that? What is that? That is actual filth. See it from both perspectives. Thank you, replay, production, whoever it was, observers. There's nothing to be done. There's nothing. There is no winning that. Oh, I've heard it was actually all Kevin. So anyone else involved? Not on you. Thanks, producer Kevin. Early look. No reward for it, though. And I've got to say, I'm out of the, if I'm talking about kind of, silver linings here, have been enjoying watching Life. I mean, that previous series against KC, it put him, a little on the radar. You're like, okay, maybe there's some more value to that later on. Maybe he's got, something cooked up here. But I want to see if he continues on this trajectory throughout the rest of this series.
See, early on, Loud, a decent read on the situation. FPX are rotating, but a little further behind this. There will be a free plant. Uncontested for the time being, and an opportunity for potentially less to farm up here, but...
He's only got the Sheriff, though.
Yeah.
Which is a little tricky. Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. I want to see more of Life. The problem is that will be surely everyone turning attention. I think there's still a consideration that maybe there's going to be a late presence towards CT, but we know it. They don't. A little bit of a nuisance here for FPX. They're going to have to try and close that gap, and satic, yeah, there's them putting the foot down. Not going to let much more play happen. That's satic having none of what they're trying to sell. Did lose 2 in the process. But rounds around, that's double digits. And we need to see FPX get back on the board here, Mike. It's been a drought.
Need to see a response here in the buy round to shut down this early momentum. Because, I mean, look at the Rolling Thunder, look at the Hunter's Fury for Loud.
They're close.
Yeah. See a timeout called ahead of this. No surprises, really, because this is very pivotal in terms of FPX's potential to work their way back into this half.
Sadic's reaction's just so good. So good, he's just a happy chappy. Yeah, I think, I'm glad you noted it as well. I think we all note now, looking especially at the timeline when we get a glimpse in game again, how much of a string of rounds it is, because there was that one back, but outside of that, this has been a run for Loud. this has been them turning after those 3 in a row that FPX were able to garner
like I said,
early.
I mean, earlier on in the half week, we credited FPX for having a good read on the situation and, like I said, reading exactly what Loud wanted to do in terms of preventing FPX from taking that space. Happy to take the fight to them, but I mean, after that, it's when kind of Loud sink their teeth in a little bit, get a grasp on what's going on, and unfortunately here, I mean, with the scoreline coming out of the first half, there's few opportunities after losing the pistol, losing round 2 that FPX are going to really have here. So whether or not them getting proactive once again feels extremely uneasy to justify doing so when you have such a pivotal round to get on the board here. And also, with how kind of linear it was around Life and Autumn, I think Loud are kind of reading into massively what's going on around the map by who they see. Seeing the previous the immediate responses to disengage.
Do we get a brawl at the start? I said there might have been a brawl, there wasn't. It was just a straight-up execution. Berlin finding County, and I assume through the wall, just spam, but QCK closing the gap here. But I don't think he expects the additional player, no. Lysol was the surprise they didn't expect. Autumn holding towards top middle. This is good from FPX. Oh, God, maybe not. Les is still alive. That's 2. He needs 3 more. And there's 2. Yeah, not gonna happen. Good work from Life there. I get nervous sometimes, even with Les especially. But Life keeps them where they're at. FPX keep 3 alive, and that was a critical round, Mike. That was everything they needed.
Definitely.
And they went for a challenge on B as well.
Yeah, the confidence still there. They're happy to post up and prevent Loud from walking around the map. That's always a threat. Unfortunately, 1v5 with Life flanking through, not really going to happen.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, the ultimates are still here, so a previous round, Loud still carrying on to some of that inventory from the round 2 win.
And Autumn's got his, though, so I want to see if they dare to invest it, right? Do they get a little bit more creative now? That one break, that one little bit of respite, that one round, does it spur them on? Not quite in the early round, and a very early exploration from Cowanzine to take a glance towards middle. Already clearing through tiles and looking towards top middle. It was less last time. We got the punish on this. Really trying to give away a great deal, trying to show a lot.
I mean, effectively drawn 3 sets of eyes here, but FPX very quickly dip away and try and close the door on A site. Give Autumn a little bit of security here. But Loud have created an opening. They're going to have themselves a 4v2 onto B site.
Life is here, though. If Life is on the site, and they're going to note that. They're going to know he is over towards this side. Close enough by. Ult's going to be invested, going to force away Lysor. Should allow for safe passage towards the side. Life's been caught. Life's dead. Burns alive! Left
beautiful awareness.
In a crisp, just that one piece of utility. Noted, seen early, relayed through, was telling enough. Heads up work from Loud, but can the 4 players pull off a retake here? You've got the ult on Autumn that could be key. QCK, though, still proactive towards that CT side. Still being a thorn in the side. Good flash, couldn't quite get the kill. Autumn now takes a step towards the site. That's the ult now going to be removed. And the smoke's going to be put into place.
Probably being though, satic, he's got the recoil, he's got a couple of shock darts as well, so it's going to be difficult for FPX to try and stick this here. The Cove has to find some value.
To get them the half.
One enemy.
It doesn't. That might be it. Yep, I think Ayang even knows that as well. Going to back away on this one, Loud. Look in control, even in that post plant that could have been dangerous, could have been deadly. But again, that read on the positioning, the noting of the player, they absolutely had Life dead to rights.
Absolutely.
Act on my intel.
Beautifully
Don't
done.
give them time to reposition.
The hot hands go inside the smoke here. Forcey Life just left to cook. And not in a good way.
My ultimate's ready.
We're back in a similar situation now. I mean, not much left in the bank behind this purchase. Life one away from the Tour de Force, but have to get that online here to make use of it in round 17. Pretty much everything else invested here.
Need to see this duo cleaner, though. Life and Autumn. Yeah, this time, Dart dealt with no problems with that.
But I mean, that's a big indicator to Loud because they know what happened the first time around. They darted in there.
I think they agree with you. They're drifting right back towards B.
These setups being sniffed out very easily by Loud. put them firmly in the driving seat, but not as decisive this time around.
No, still aware. Maybe that push up, or
exactly,
there was a couple of positions they lent upon before, and you can see that looks like FPX are trying to read this as a mid piece, but that's not the case at all. Maybe just going to allow for the plant to come in and play for the full retake here. QCK going to try and take as much space as possible. Not going to know anyone might have seen something on CT. So that's going to be Elise Ayang noted. satic has found Berlin. That was over towards Market. Maybe just a spam through the smoke, but a likely position nonetheless. Going to leave Quarantine on the site. Good clear from Lysor. First step, they've cleared the site itself, but that deeper hold.
Problem being now, satic can drift deeper and deeper on this with the Hunter's Fury. Less still with 2 snake bites as well, so asking another difficult defuse to come through here, but Lysor found one blind.
That's enough though. Pulls the trigger. They've got to be careful on this for Tuis and satic. There it is in unison. Careful now. Fine margins, but fine work from Loud. Holding on to this one again, showing that composure in these key rounds. And Lysor having to back away. FPX, they haven't got a grip on Loud here.
No, it's difficult really to break apart some of these post plants in B main, but with a lack of map control elsewhere, limited options for FPX. Almost when you want to see Life and Autumn really taking advantage of a lack of presence shown by Loud over on the A side of the map. And maybe not feeling comfortable enough to justify that in a full 5v5, but tough to see here. 7-round deficit. A couple of rifles, well, 3 rifles to come through here, and some key ultimates. One away from the pit as well for Lysor.
You heard it. QCK willing to fight on this, sprays and gets Autumn.
Berlin down to 29 as well.
It's rough. That's really rough.
Right here.
They're trying to stay close on this, maybe trying to play in Lysor potentially?
Maybe trying to bait him in, yeah, but you almost don't want him in that situation with the pit as well, while one away from the pit. Looks like Loud won't continue to push through. He's going to try and set something in motion for Tuis.
In these early fights, there's plenty of time for them to still explore the map, right? They haven't really got a glimpse towards A. You do have a deeper hold, though. Les has been holding that, so if anyone does go for very, very long rotation routes, deep fact-finding, he might be rewarded, but timing's everything. Does Lysor get this? Oh, God.
They've walled him in here. Give him a little cubby to play out of.
Well, maybe it's enough to stall. They're banking on this, but the barrel, oh, it's a downfall, and Les opens the gates towards A. Life.
Hit as well here.
Oh, God, that cuts off.
Everything off here outside Link.
Berlin just got caught as well. This could be it. The downfall of FPX on this map. Thinking they had a little bit of an opportunity there. It comes crumbling down in front of them. Les looking to close, and he does. 13-5. It's clean work for Loud. They are looking very sharp here.
Very decisive performance here, bouncing back from some question marks in our opening series for sure. Definitely looking like they've tightened things up, cleaned things up a little bit here. Fortunate for FPX to really have to now bounce back from that elimination series.
Yeah, this one hasn't been what FPX would have wanted. That's only map 1.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.